Hi everyone, my name is Diana Jordan, and this is my CSR report on ZARA. I'm focusing on the human rights and environmental portion. So some basics about ZARA. ZARA is a Spanish clothing retailer that was founded in 1975 by Amancio Ortega and Rosalia Mira. They have a brand value of $14.7 billion and sales of $21.9 billion in 2020. They have around 6,500 stores across 96 countries. Human rights in ZARA. So their ESG claims that they're committed to respecting the labor rights of their employees around the world. However, there are countries facing significant labor conditions like Brazil and Turkey. In Brazilian factories, ZARA employees work in fenced-in conditions and their movements are being monitored constantly. They have no freedom of movement and they're forced to work in cramped workshops. In March of 2021, ZARA issued a statement in response to these accusations, claiming that they take a zero-tolerance approach towards the forced labor of any kind. However, this statement was only up for a short amount of time on their website before it was removed. The Brazilian Ministry of Labor estimates that 300,000 people work in slave-like conditions nationwide. The textile industry, which ZARA is a part of because they produce clothing, is one of the top 3 industries where slave-like labor is highest. Majority of people that are working in these conditions are actually migrants that enter Brazil illegally, where they end up working in illegal or semi-illegal workshops. In 2011, the contractor that is responsible for 90% of ZARA's Brazilian production was actually found subcontracting work to a factory that used refugee workers from Bolivia and Peru. These refugees were working 16 to 19-hour days with little or no time off. One of these workers was as young as 14, even though ZARA's website claims that they will never initiate a business relationship with a supplier that employs workers under the age of 16. Now on to Turkey. In 2017, labor violations had been so dire that Turkish factory workers had begun to sew pleas on the inside of their clothing items to make customers aware of the mistreatment that they were receiving. Some of the stitching included pleas saying that they had not been paid for a single dime of their work, and shoppers were buying products with notes sewn in them saying that I made this item you're going to buy, but I did not get paid for it. The third-party manufacturer actually closed down overnight, leaving workers with months of unpaid work. In response, ZARA just published a press release stating that they were going to enhance labor conditions at all levels of the garment sector value chain. Now on to environment. So ZARA produces 24 new collections each year that contributes millions of waste to landfills. They produce clothing that has synthetic fibers that add microplastics to the environment, and they produce thousands to millions of greenhouse gases. So in 2018, ZARA produced more than 450 million items. That's 1.23 million items per day. 85% of the textiles that are made each year actually end up in landfills or burnt. ZARA's ESG claims that by 2025 they will have 100% of their cotton be recycled or organic, 100% of their viscose and wood-based fibers be sourced from responsibly managed forests, and that all of their synthetic fibers will be 100% recycled. However, ZARA still uses virgin synthetics and conventional viscose and cotton materials. Plastic fibers from textiles have been indicated as a major source of marine contaminant entering the oceans via wastewater and diverse non-point sources. Microplastics are present in various compartments of the environment, including water, sediment, terrestrial soil, and biota. Now on to greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases and pollution is another main way ZARA contributes to the environment. With the 24 new clothing collections each year, ZARA is still relying heavily on suppliers that use low-tech production systems that contribute negatively to climate change. Making 1 kilogram of fabric generates an average of 23 kilograms of greenhouse gases. Material processing and production of clothes relies heavily on fossil fuels, which are non-renewable sources. So what is ZARA doing to help? They started a program called Closing the Loop, which pretty much is aimed at reusing their materials, so customers can drop off their used clothing in store or through the mail to have them be recycled or reused. And this is obviously a great initiative that ZARA has in place. However, there's no evidence that ZARA has actually been minimizing their textile waste in production. Another positive was that their owner, Amancio Ortega, recently invested $281 million for a 49% stake in the Delta wind farm. The wind farm will produce 992 gigawatt hours of 100% renewable energy a year. And that's equivalent to the annual consumption of 300,000 households. So that's a major difference. So my recommended CSR plan, now that the owner has invested in one wind farm, I think they should invest in multiple. They have obviously billions of dollars. The company's worth billions. So, with ZARA being the largest fashion brand in the world, they can invest in multiple wind farms, which can generate a lot of renewable energy. Another CSR recommendation would be to obviously repay the workers that lost months of unpaid, work from the factory being shut down, and to also take accountability for these inhumane conditions. It seems like they're just posting these press releases and statements saying that they're not involved in this. However, it's still happening. So possibly allowing their workers to become unionized would help, because their workers can fight for at least minimum wage, some kind of fair pay, humane work environments. They're not working in cramped workshops. So I think that could help a lot. Also, if possible, stopping production in countries where few or no labor laws. These countries that ZARA is using to produce their clothing cheaply are countries that have either no labor laws or very few labor laws. So if they were to stop production in these countries, that could eliminate obviously a lot of these workers that are being abused and working in inhumane conditions. These are my references, and that's all for today. So thank you for listening.